my friends. How are you doing? Happy Monday. Welcome to Sense. This is Petal. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I hope you actually had a great weekend. Doing whatever it is you were doing, wherever you are in the world. Hope it was fantastic. Again, welcome to Facts and Two Cents, your channel that supports Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, uh, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula Guy, the chickens, Mama Mia, all of us here at Sussex Squad, the Invictus community. I welcome everyone. As you know, we are biased, petty, and all of the in-between. And of course, we embrace all of who we are. We embrace our messy selves. So I don't think we would have it any other way, actually. And I love us just the way we are. Messy, dysfunctional, functional, all the ways in between. So anyways, welcome guys. What's up? I'm just gonna jump in and actually pull this down a bit. I'm getting a little bit better with my fading, so I'm very proud of my fadings. And jump in the chat to see who's here. My awesome friends are here. Lydia, awesome. She's talking about archetypes. Awesome moderator Lydia is here. Hi Lydia, how are you? And Lady Bird is here. Lady Bird was the first one here. She's like, hot pedal, can't wait. I'm so happy to hear that, Lady Bird. And Fancy and Annie and Rosa. Hello, and Verda is here. And let's see. I said Rosa before. And let's see who else is here. Oh, Elaine Parker is here. And VC is here. Hello, guys. Black Queen. Ladybird, Jessica. Hello, Jessica. Jessica is here. Nelly Dean. Hi, guys. Catherine. Happy Monday to everybody. Dolores is here. Is there, Dolores? I see myself in the chat as well. And Joan is here. I was just saying hello to everybody. And Hazel Bryan. Hi, Hazel. How are you? And Iris is here and Faya is here. Oh my goodness, all awesome 2 Cents crew members are here. And Wendy is here. Hi guys, and Joan. Hi, Joan Garcia and Patricia. And I think I said Wendy already. Wendy and Catalina and Iris and Alita and Ghislaine is here. Oh my word. So guys, welcome. I'll just get to everyone else as they come in. But guys, one more sleep. One more sleep to Archetypes. I am so excited. I know all of the squad, and I'm assuming all the British press, they'll finally have something to be talking about, are awaiting tomorrow morning, bright and early, for Archetypes to get back here. And we could bond with Meghan. Obviously, they have been, they have been chilling in California. And of course, there's been no news out of Montecito. So, of course, they are making up all kind of news like they're moving, they're buying a new house. I mean, we heard that earlier in the year, didn't we? That whole mess story was going around because somebody wanted to, get attention for, I guess, selling property. And so they decided to use Harry and Meghan's name in some property they were trying to sell. And of course, that became big news all around. And I think we're right back here because, again, there have been no word out of Harry and Meghan. They have been silent since that funeral. So obviously, because nothing else is happening in the UK, never mind, they have a new king, new queen, new duke, prince and princess of Wales, and all of that stuff going on. Oh no, they need to be in California, where or two who have left, they need to be prying into their lives. So yeah, so that's where we are in Montecito. Apparently they're moving, or they may or may not have bought a new house, and nonsense. But anyway, whether they have or not, I mean, do we know if they bought? I would be surprised if they haven't been buying and selling houses, because again, we've talked about this before. Their friends are Ellen and Oprah. Ellen and Oprah buy and they flip houses all the time. It's like they make a ton of money flipping houses. People buy, renovate, do whatever, upgrade the house and sell it for, so much more than they paid for it. This is very popular, especially in California. And again, Ellen is probably a billionaire by now doing that. She does that all the time, and Oprah does it. So I'd be surprised. That's their friend. So again, we talked about this before. I'd be very, very, very surprised if Harry and Meghan aren't doing the same thing. So look, you can make a ton of money doing that. Why not? So whether that's true or not, who knows? Don't care. That's their business. They're making up money. Kudos for them. Make all the money you want if that's what they're doing. But my thing is, tomorrow is Archetypes. That's my my focus. And, I'm sure we all are in the same boat. I'm really excited about tomorrow as well. And again, it's going to be about the Dragon Lady trope. So that's what they're going to be talking about. And I know there's going to be a lot of Asian coverage and stuff. So I really, really am excited about that. So yeah. And I love the fact that Meghan is bringing in, it's not just, issues for Black women, especially. It's not as, but she's bringing in all different cultures, all different races, and everyone can feel like they are heard, or at least, can know that, okay, we're covering topics that would affect my community. And so it is fantastic. And we had talked about it before. This is such a great service to so many people who may not feel heard in these areas. Not many people talk about, say, the Dragon Lady. We know it's there, but we don't, you don't hear. It's not the top, topic of conversation in news stories or podcasts or stuff like that. And so for me, it's such a great service to all, people who may be, struggling and have these tropes thrown at them all the time. And to be, to have a forum where they feel heard and with someone with such a high profile. So I'm really, really excited. Again, for those who are like, well, what are they doing? What is, someone was saying, well, she's only doing a podcast. I'm like, no, the podcast is a great service. You need to understand what it is. You listen to what it is and understand the topics and understand what service that is, because it services huge communities of people who are affected on a daily basis by these tropes being thrown at them. So, and not just them, but us. Hello. So anyway, so one more sleeps, 2 archetypes. I am so Lady Bird is like, Archetypes gonna take over the world. It has taken over the world. Everybody's talking about Archetypes. It's just, it's awesome. So I'm looking forward to it being back on top of the podcast charts. After 3 weeks of not having it, I am very much, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks now, not having it. So very, 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 very excited. So let's see. It's so funny because I see these all the time, and I was trying to find others, but I ran out of time. But I don't know about you guys. I didn't know Meghan. I'd never heard of Meghan before Harry. I'd never heard of Suits. Again, I don't watch television, so that's not a big, it's not big that I didn't know about it. But I had not, so I ran into this picture, and I love running into pictures of Meghan that I had never seen before. And this is her on set, and that's people around the set when I guess they were filming on the street. And I had not seen this picture before. And so I just saw it happen to pop up. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if you guys, you probably have seen it before. If you knew Meghan before and you were following her or knew about her before starting to date Harry. So you might have seen this before. I just haven't. I literally saw it just before I was coming in. I was like, I'll just pull it in. So just in case other people hadn't seen it. But it's just so cute. And it's just her on set with fans. I guess we're just hanging out as they were filming Suits on the street. So I'm just like, you go. It just, I don't know. There's no reason to it. I just thought it was cute. So you're probably like, Petal, really? Sure. Really? That's it. That's it. There's nothing else about it. Absolutely nothing else about it, only that. Tiger Cubs like Courtney Cox used to flip and buy and flip houses. Yeah, this is a very, very big thing in California, especially, I mean, they do it all over the country, really. But very, very big. I mean, you can make mint doing that stuff, and buying and, upgrading your house and selling it. That's People do that all the time. So if they're doing that, good for them. You make a ton of money doing that. So your future be set, your baby's future be set. So yeah. But let's see. Moving on. Let's just pull this down. Hang on one second. All right. What else is going on in the world? So we talked about this last time. The Danish monarch is they're going through some things. And last time I mentioned that I brought in an article from this media outlet, Extra Blood Day. I think one of our wonderful squaddies, our community members, gave me the phonetics, and I hope I just said this right. Extra Blood Day. I thought it was French. Actually, it's Danish outlet. So I was like, oh, who knew? Because they were when they interviewed Prince Joachim in France. Apparently, he's been exiled to France. Who knew? I'm learning all these things about the Danish monarch that I had no idea I needed to know before. But I think it was a few years ago, him and his family, his wife and his second wife and two kids, they now live in France. And apparently when they moved to France, they thought it was just, it was him and his wife wanting to move there. Apparently now he is saying he moved there against his will. Or at least she said that it was not their choice to move to France. So what people are now, with all the stuff that is going on with the monarchy, with them stripping Prince Joachim's, the 4 kids of their prince and princess titles, people are now realizing that it seems like it's more of the Danish monarch banished them to France. And so it's just like, oh my goodness, who knew all this stuff was happening there? And so there's a lot of bad blood now. People are asking him, well, what is your relationship with Queen Marguerite? And it's not good apparently. And we're learning that they didn't sit down with the kids and tell them. They just sort of heard it. It's just like they only gave them a few days notice. So everybody was upset. And the last episode we brought in an article from Extra that with Prince Joachim and also his first wife sharing just their shock and dismay and just their hurt about what Queen Margaret did by stripping their kids like that, giving them 5 days notice. And now what is happening is the little girl is 10, and kids could be mean sometimes. So now apparently she is getting bullied at school because now her friends are like, you're going to be stripped of your princess title. You know how kids are. They could be at that age. And so they're hurt and upset that she is going through that. And now the older kids, and now Prince Nikolai, and he is now spoken to Extra about how he feels about what happened to him. And so they caught him leaving his home, him and his mom and his brother, that's his Prince Joachim's first 2 kids with his first wife. They live in Denmark, even though he's sort of been banished to France. So Extra caught up with Prince Nikolai and says he's wearing a cap and sporty clothes, and picked up by a friend who is waiting in a waiting car before that. Prince Nikolai benevolently goes over to Extra Bloody emissary. He is angry, disappointed, affected, doesn't understand his grandmother's decision at all. This is what he says, my whole family and I, of course, are very sad. We are, as my parents have also stated, in shock at this decision and how quickly it has gone. It has actually gone, says Prince Nikolai, and continues. I am very confused as to why this has happened like this, says Prince Nikolai 23, who in connection with the interview, perhaps because of a relaxed style of clothing, and after the evening on CBS didn't want to be filmed or photographed. So they just basically got his statement. He didn't want to be on film. He didn't want to be photographed. So, they obliged, and that's fine. But so the whole family is just very, very hurt. And so, and I didn't realized that apparently Princess Marie, I think his name is his first wife, his second wife's. She also talked about how she's feeling about the whole thing, and so there, it's funny because, and I could not find it because apparently when after Meghan and Harry did their Oprah interview, apparently she was saying, basically against Meghan, there's no point complaining and all of that stuff. So she was kind of against Meghan, and I couldn't find where it is. So people are now saying, well, now it's on her. Now why is she complaining and explaining, since she was saying that Meghan shouldn't complain and explain? I could not find where she said it. So I am still looking for what her comments were about it. But apparently it wasn't favorable. And so it is just a big mess. And so now, again, the kids are hurt. And the thing about the whole thing, I don't think Queen Marguerite expected them to say stuff. I guess when they put out the thing, I assume she expected them to be, silent and not speak up. And now everybody is complaining. And so this stuff has not gone down well at all. And again, for me, and probably not at all have anything to do with Prince Charles and his decisions about Archie and Lily, but it's just the timing is what I'm like, this, everyone is like, why now? Like, why would you do this like this? Why? And so again, she was just in the UK with Prince Charles, for Queen Betty II's funeral. And all of a sudden she comes back and drops this on her family. And I could be very wrong about this, but I'm like, is that like a trial run for what Prince Charles, or King Charles, I should say, King Charles wants to do with Archie and Lily, wants to take their prince and princess title, and now they're seeing like, okay, maybe this is not going to go out as easy as we thought it would be. And so I don't know. It's just my conspiracy theory. It could be, but it has become a mess. And now they're even asking him about his relationship with the Queen, and he's like, yeah, so he didn't want to quite say, but it's not well. It is not well at all. And so hopefully Prince Charles or King Charles is looking at this, and I don't know what they're going to do, because if they just pull Archie and Lily's prince and princess title, that is going to be a whole mess. So if someone was saying what they're probably going to do is probably what Marguerite did, and pull other people's titles so it doesn't look like, again, these two older kids for Prince Joaquin are mixed race kids. And so by pulling their title, they pulled all four. So the other two younger kids are like collateral damage. So if they pull Archie and Lily's prince title, don't be surprised if they pull other people's titles, as collateral damage, so that it doesn't look like they are racist. But again, with racism, when you're racist against somebody, that's not just the only person that feels the pain and the harsh penalties, or not penalties, whatever the consequences of that. The people, everybody around them, gets blasted with racism as well. So it's like they all feel the pain of it. And so don't be surprised. So again, it's just my conspiracy theory. It's probably not what it is, but for me, again, timing. But anyways, moving on from their mess, who knew? Before this all happened, I'd never even heard of these people before. I never heard of them before. I never paid attention to Denmark and their royal family. So anyways, moving on from them. So a couple of days ago, we talked about this. Prince Charles getting banned from the climate summit in Egypt, the COP27, which, again, Prince Charles going doesn't make any difference. He's the biggest climate change. He's the biggest environmental hypocrite there is. So him going, I don't see, yes, I'm sure he's going to do a bunch of words. But again, he's going to not do any of those things he wants other people to do anyway. So what's the point of wasting money and having, time, money, and all of that stuff when you could donate that money to people who actually need it? Really? So anyway, so we ended that because the article was that Prince Charles was banned from going, and Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister of England, basically ordered him not to go. So that was the article, as you can see from on the right side of this. I pulled up 3, and this is kind of how the British press work when you have a when you have that invisible, not invisible contract anymore with the British press. And this is how it works. And you see on the left, Roya Nika, she was one of the reporters reporting out on this. Her thing is, Liz Truss has told King Charles not to attend next month's attend COP27P next month. The king's a lifelong environmentalist, on and on and on. And if you look at the bottom where the actual link to the article, the Times article, this is what it says. Liz Truss orders King Charles to stay away from COP27 climate summit. Middle one, this is the Sunday Times. Literally, they're the ones who this is their article. Liz Truss orders King Charles to stay away from COP27 climate change. This is their thing, and so all of it when they put it out was Saturday evening, late Saturday evening, whatever. This was the article that Liz Truss ordered him not to go. A little call from Buckingham Palace, and this is what it says. Truss advised the king to stay away. All of a sudden, it's no longer she orders him, but she advised the king to stay away from the climate. And also, if you look at the on the left, it says Charles wanted to deliver a speech at COP27 meeting, but after consulting with officials, he agreed not to go. It's no longer Liz Truss orders him, which is literally what happened. But all of a sudden, Buckingham Palace and, their Prince Charles's press secretary, that editor from the Daily Mail, give Roya Nika's and her co-writer's editor a call. And all of a sudden, the ordering become an advised. And it becomes it was a consultation. And then the king decided, and he agreed to not go. And this... And it's just, I had to laugh. It's so funny. I love Royal _Suter because she is the one that flagged this one, and it was just like, yep, this is how it goes. This is client journalism for you. Not even journalism, because this is not journalism. It's client reporting. When the royals are your clients, you just, whatever they want your banner to be or your headline to be. And if they don't like it, they just make a call and you're like, like when you said orders, can you change that to advised, please? Can you change it to, no, we had a consultation and I decided and I agreed with her that I shouldn't go. It should never be, I was ordered because I am king. And it's just hilarious to me, and I feel bad for British people because this is the nonsense you have to deal with. This is supposed to be your press. This is supposed to be your press, and this is the nonsense you put up with. And again, other than if you're a part of the squad and very few others in the UK, you would never notice this because of when they change it. A lot of times they don't even say that they edited. They just change it, and you're not knowing. You just come in and you think, oh, Prince Charles. Oh no, he was just he was advised, and he had a consultation, and he decided to go. And it's just like. But I am so glad that we are a part of the squad because a squaddy will spot this. And, and again, that's the reason why we archive articles so that we can spot this mess. So anyway, it's just, that's what they have to deal with, unfortunately. Um, Adrian says, but that's how they operate, Petal. Winston Churchill often advised the Queen what to do. That's true. It goes on advisement, but I mean, again, in terms of reporting it, they always says under advisement of even say the Queen and Boris Johnson, very true. The same thing. She would say under advisement. But the truth about it is, if Boris Johnson, look at some of the things that the Queen did, even though it was wrong, and even though, she still had to go along with it. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's just under advisement. She just literally had to do what he said to do. She couldn't go against her prime minister. And it's the same thing here. The prime minister said, no, you can't do it, And so for me, it's just that advice is just like, well, you couldn't do it if they said no. So it's like, that advice for me is, that's just trying to make it look like you had a choice other than that. You didn't. And so for me, orders is the correct word. And maybe they didn't put it okay, you have to do this, or you can't do this or else. I'm not thinking that's the language that is. But the fact is, it's an order. If she says you can't do it, you can't do it. It's just period. So yeah, I understand, Adrian. I understand what you're saying, and that is absolutely true. But the fact of the matter is, if the prime minister said no, you can't. If the prime minister makes a suggestion or say, okay, this is the person you have to hire, or this is the person I want you to hire, the royal family is just going to go along. It's just how it is. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Joseph says, a gun to your head is not advising. Yeah, well, true. Absolutely true. And not that that's, it's like, there's a gun to his head. Again, it's a climate summit. Again, talking about Prince Charles, he's a hypocrite anyway. So I absolutely, if it's the case where she ordered him, no, you cannot go. I don't care what you want. I don't care that you're an environmentalist. You're not going. I totally agree with her. Completely agree with her on this issue. I may not agree with her on any other issue, but this one I agree, because there's no point to him going. He is a hypocrite. So, and it's a waste of time, waste of energy, waste of money, whatever. He is a climate hypocrite. What's the point of him going? So I completely agree with her. So there you go. However she delivered that, I completely agree with her. Dana says the change in the headlines says the palace can correct narratives if they want to. No headlines stem from leaks were corrected, and Harry knows that too well. Oh, he knows that too well, how the machine works. Absolutely correct, Dana. Absolutely correct. How many times have we talked about this, whether it's for William, whether it's for Kate, whether it's for, as in this case, Charles? They correct headlines all the time and change headlines all the time when they want to. It's like Harry and Meghan says, they will not tell the truth. They will lie to protect their, the ones that they want to protect, like the heirs, but they will not tell the truth to protect me and my husband. It's so true. Something as simple as this, it's like they're changing headlines. And it's just like, this is so true. Thank you, Dana, for bringing that up, because that is absolutely correct. Anyways, moving on. And not that this is funny at all. We've talked about the grief cycle before, going through all the stages of grief, whether, shock and denial at first, and anger, and then depression, and then dialogue, and you're bargaining, and, all in a effort to try to accept whatever it is you're grieving over, and then hopefully finally getting to the point of accepting whatever the thing is that you're grieving over, and then hopefully move on with your life. And that is what the pattern of grief is supposed to, or what people say that's what's supposed to happen. But I love the bottom part, the bottom right part, where it has that sort of like the curves and where you are in the grief process, and whether you're up and then down, or at the bottom in depression, and then you start rising where you're bargaining up to acceptance. That's kind of normally what people say you're supposed to be, and that's what but then you look at the little squiggly thing on the right, it's like, that's the road you want. That's kind of more the normal pattern of grieving, because you're supposed to be, but then you go one step forward, you go 10 back, and then you go another step forward in your grief process, and then you may go 20 back, and then you go, and it's just a mess until somehow maybe you get to acceptance. And I kind of feel this is so indicative of the British press's acceptance of Harry and Meghan leaving, because we've seen this. They have gone from the shock and then the anger at the Sussexes, and then they go back to the shock, and then they go to the, like, really the people are just depressed and they're writing all these crazy articles, and then they go back to anger, and then somehow and then they start bargaining, like, will they, won't they, will they, won't they, is there a way back, is there not, what, I mean, it's just this mess and mess and mess, and then they go back to the depression stage, and it has just been like, will you ever get to acceptance? Will they? I mean, it's been 2 years. And it's just like, goodness, grievances. I mean, almost 3 years, 2 years and a half, or more than 2 years and a half, almost 3 years. And so I am at the place was like, what is this going to take for you to get out of this cycle? And then so when somebody posted this yesterday and I started to celebrate, I was like, and I don't normally bring in Daily Mail articles unless I absolutely have to, but I saw this and I was like, thank you, Jesus. Somebody is at the place of acceptance, I hope, because knowing them, they may jump back to depression and start the bargaining thing all over again. But at least for one day, somebody in the British press has gotten to the place of acceptance. And so I saw this article and I had to laugh, because I was like, finally, we may not get any of those will they, is there a way back, is there not a way back nonsense that I keep coming across my Twitter feed. And it says, the picture that tells Harry and Meghan there is no way back. I had to laugh. The first official portraits of the King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla alongside William and Kate carries an air of finality, writes Richard Kay. Richard Kay, the one who always comes and clean up Prince William's mess from the Daily Mail. But it is just hilarious. But I literally had to break out laughing, because I'm like, at least finally. So, well, who knows where the rest of them are, but at least one of them is at a place of acceptance that this is over. It's almost 3 years that they have left. It's just like somebody has finally realized it's over. They're not coming back. They don't want to come back. There's no way back. They shut the door. They've already said it, And I mean, I was just like, good for you, Richard Kay. You are a lying mess. You are the most ridiculous, bootlicking reporter ever. But at least you've come to the place of acceptance that there is no way back. And I hope to the Lord you stay there, or at least go on to where you just focus on these ones and just figure out your life with these ones and just leave our faves alone. That's all I ask. And it's kind of interesting, the picture that they chose, because according to, they're talking about, people the world over, examining these pictures. And I was like, I don't think anybody the world over is examining this picture. It just takes one look at this picture and you see 4 grinning people. And this was the night before Queen Betty's funeral. 4 grinning people who were supposed to be mourning the night before Queen Betty's funeral happen to be the 4 people who gained the most out of Queen Betty's death. That's the only thing you get from this picture. The only thing, the four most non-grieving looking people ever who gained the most from Queen Betty's death. They gained titles, money, land, all of that stuff that Queen Betty owns. These people who are grinning here the night before her funeral are the ones that got it. And so that's the only thing you look at that and see. It's like, okay, I guess this is the royal family's version of grieving. So whatever. I hope Richard K stays there with these people and move on. That's all I have to say. But it is just very interesting to me. But anyways, unreal. Elaine is not having it. Elaine is like, not my king, abolish the monarchy. I am right here with you, Elaine. I am right here with you. Abolish it, abolish it, abolish it. I don't care, Let's see. Let's look at some of what you're saying here about this. Let's see. Adrian says they're still talking about the 2-year-old interview, which Meghan was telling the truth, and they find it hard to swallow. I'm telling you, Oprah's interview, it's they'll never let go. I mean, I think they're going through that cycle of grief with that interview. They have not been able to let it go. So it's unreal. Let's see. Sugar Queen says, let's be real here. We've seen pictures of Charles acting like a brat over a pen. Do we really think Liz Truss can tell King Charles to do something and he doesn't want to do? Look, he can throw a temper and do what he has been doing. What he has done is briefed against her. The only reason the press know about the fact that he is told no is because the palace leaked that to the press. Roya Nika is one of those palace flunkies. She's one of those palace mouthpieces. That's the only reason she knows about that and she was able to write about it is because it was leaked from Prince Charles. He's not going, they're not going to, publicly or go against the the prime minister. They're going to go to the proper channels with dealing with her. But what the royal family, they do what they normally do. They will leak it to their tabloids and then they will do the spin to make the prime minister look bad. She's a new prime minister and they're jumping on her right now because of the economy and all of those things. And he knows how to get, people to keep going after her. So that's what he did. That's how he would do it. He would leak stuff against her. So yeah. And but I guess he didn't plan on it going it's like he was told to. But we've seen Roya Nika change articles before. We remember when when she wrote that article about Prince William and his team trying to banish Harry and Meghan to Africa. They didn't care what country in Africa, just send them to Africa. And we spent that whole day with Roya Nika, them changing the spinning that article all different way to make William not look as racist as he came across. It's like, oh, let's just get them out of here and get them to Africa. Changing the headlines, spinning what they were saying to get out of it because they write it and then realize how bad they look. We've seen them do this before. So yeah. Let's see. Dolores says, because Charles can't get involved due to different matters coming up, that's going to deal with parliament decisions. I'm not sure what you mean, Dolores. Explain. Yeah, explain further if you'd like. Let's see. Going down. So anyways, moving on from there. One of the things that... that's been very much on everybody's tongue lately is just because those nasty book people are coming out with all these books. So a lot of people have been talking about just and I've posted about it as well, just about the way that the royals basically treat their staff, because people have all of this bullying accusations against Meghan, and they've gone so far as to refer to Meghan as a narcissistic sociopath. I mean, I still can't even get over that one. And it's just so I've been posting, and a lot of people have been posting, just we're not definitely not highlighting these people's book, but because those charges have been out there, and we know that the royal family did the bogus investigation and all of that stuff, which they've basically hidden, and or whatever they did with that investigation, they definitely have not made it public, whatever happened with it. So we have been highlighting just what it's like to work with Prince, whether it's Prince Charles, Prince William, Prince, Andrew, whatever, that coming from books that people have written about them, and or documentaries that people have made about them. I mean, it's a lot of information from their former and current staff about what it's like working with them. And so a few days ago, I posted, or reposted a video about Prince Charles having an issue putting a, I guess, one of those things, clips, I guess it's like a clip on his tie or something like that. And the thing fell out of his hand, went down into the sink. He literally, with his bare hands, ripped the sink out of the wall, and then grabbed his butler that was there trying to help him, grabbed him by his throat, freaked the poor man out, and he was a new hire, freaked him out so much, the guy backed into a closet and stayed in. He was so terrified, stayed in there for 10 minutes, and then also Prince Charles demanded of his butlers to lie for him, and, to cover up his affair with Camilla. I mean, so many horrific stories about working for Prince Charles, yet people are coming at Meghan, like, accusing her of bullying and going so far as to call her like a narcissistic sociopath. And it's just like, it's been unreal. So today, Royal Suitor had this, and so she did it as sort of like a game, and this wheel that's just turning, and what it was about is the different ways that people have labeled behavior in the royal household. For example, how when they write about different behaviors, like staff working with different people, how they would label their behavior. For example, Prince Charles yelling at his staff would be labeled, oh, he's emotional. With Meghan, the same behavior they would say, not that it's true, but that they would say, oh, Meghan was yelling at the staff, whatever. They would label her as a bully. They will never label, and have never labeled, all of Prince Charles, Prince William, Princess Anne, all of their behavior that is well documented. They've never been labeled as bully. They've never been labeled as sociopaths. They've been nothing, narcissist, nothing. Only Meghan has, so she has this thing. So I was like, we should focus a lot, because there's a lot of information out there on people who have worked with them and what it was like. So I read this book a while ago, and different episodes I'm going to talk about different people who've worked with Prince Charles, Prince William, coming from writers who've written about those situations. So Sally Billell Smith, I've spoken about her before, and I just finished reading her book about the Queen, because again, I didn't know a whole lot about the Queen. So I read a book about, because there were so many things I didn't know about her life. And so I read this one a while ago, and so I went back and was trying to find it the other day. I'm like, I know I read it, and I finally found what this is. It's a little bit of reading, but I'll read through a little bit about Malcolm Ross's experience working with Prince Charles. It says, in October 2005, the phone rang in Sir Malcolm Ross's apartment at St. James Palace. The 61-year-old courtier had just retired, but Charles asked him to come work for him as his master of household. As the Queen controller, he used to work for the Queen since 1991. Ross had supervised all big ceremonial events. He had been a prime organizer of Diana's funeral. He was the hero behind the scenes of the Queen's mother's funeral 5 years later. Charles was well aware that Ross had come to the rescue when plans of his own wedding, as Ross puts it, nearly went off the rails. Ross is so equipped and qualified for this job. It says Ross is a graduate of Eton and Sandhurst. He's a military guy and a former lieutenant colonel in the Scots Guard. He and Charles scarcely knew each other, but Ross's pedigree made him ideal for the job. And it goes on to talk about his brother, etc., etc. A little bit about Ross working for Prince Charles. It says his arrival on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2006, brought him up short when he discovered that he had gone from something incredibly disciplined at the Queen's household to something that had no rules. Ross rapidly learned the prince's likes and dislikes and found him to be reasonable in many respects, but working for Prince Charles was a shock to the system, Ross recalled. I had 3 calls from the Queen outside working hours in 18 years. I had 6 to 8 of them from Prince Charles on my first weekend. He could see Charles's strength, as in he never ever stops thinking. He never stops pursuing ideas. He wants to get a move on. Created weakness when he exhausted himself. Ross didn't interpret Charles's resulting fits of temper as malicious, but simply as a matter of demanding to know why his orders were not carried out on the spot. I was called names I hadn't heard since early days in the army, said Ross. He also sensed pervasive fear among the employees at Clarence House. Assistant private secretaries were accustomed to lingering in their offices until evening for fear that they would be dressed down by their boss if they left at normal hours. Ross was even more taken aback that Michael Peet offered no protection from Prince Charles, and even worse, the private secretary had seemed to turn on the Queen. In meetings shortly after Ross' arrival, Pete denigrated Buckingham Palace advisors, calling them dinosaurs and old has-beens. Ross couldn't restrain himself. He said he would leave the room if such discourtecy continued. In several meetings, Ross did walk out when the conversation turned critical of the monarch's household. Ross concluded that this was Prince Charles's view, and Michael Peet was a clone of Prince Charles. If the prince said, "Oh God, what is mommy up to?" Michael Peet would adopt the same view in his own language. After nearly 2 decades serving the Queen, Ross couldn't abide by such impertinence. He goes on to say, was the prince responsible for his household undercurrents? He is not a fool, said the veteran courtier. He was more than aware what was going on. And so there was just a lot of stuff, including, freezing out Michael Ross, I guess, because he stood up for the Queen and her household. They began freezing him out. And so that's why he was saying, Prince Charles was aware. He was aware of what was going on. He was aware of what, of his, his private secretary's behavior and attitude towards the Queen and her household. Then he was talking about, when he left, he was actually fired. There was something happened with Michael Fawcett, and then eventually Ross was fired, and he was asked about it. He says, "I was actually delighted," Ross recalled. "I had it with Clarence House. I couldn't adapt. I tried. I did everything I could." He dutifully stayed until a successor was in place 5 years afterwards. Ross remained so scorched by the experience that he admitted to dropping my guard as a polished courtier by letting the truth come out. He said he still regarded the Prince of Wales as a tremendous guy in many ways, but he had his bad side too. So this was just one person's experience working with Prince Charles. And, again, nobody, even, he was talking about being called every name under the book, like names that he hadn't heard since he was in the army. How, some of the staff were so afraid to leave the office at the regular hours. They would just stay there because they know if they left at a regular hour, they would be treated, they would be dressed down. How, and you hear of Prince Charles, oh, mommy, and, his respect for his mom. It's widely known that he didn't have much respect for his mother, And so when he's talking about, Michael Pete disrespecting the Queen's household, Prince Charles knew about it. And that's what he was saying, Michael Pete was just doing exactly what Prince Charles was doing. His attitude was exactly what Prince Charles's attitude towards the Queen's household, calling them has been and all of those things. None of those things ever would come out of Meghan's mouth. Yet you don't ever hear them calling, whether it's Charles or Michael Pete or any of those things, the name that they have called Meghan, and stuff that we don't even know is true. This is a man talking about his personal experience. We have his name. We know where he worked. We know who he worked with. He named names. Nobody has ever been specific about what Meghan has supposedly have done. It's always unnamed sources talking about things that, and none of it's specific. None of them have given any specific thing about Meghan. Yet people are so quick to believe Meghan is this bully and whatever. Yet here's this man giving specific instances and specific things that they were doing at Clarence's house. All under Prince Charles, him knowing exactly what was happening, did nothing about it. And by the time he left, he's like, he was so scorched that he's like, normally he's not a person that would go blabbing, but he's like, no, I have to talk about it. I have to let someone know, And so all of these people coming at Meghan, they don't want to go back and look at this behavior. This is from You're Now King. And so I just feel like we just have to keep bringing this up because so many people, not many people are going to be going out and reading a book about Prince Charles or King Charles. I just happened to, it was like, okay, there's a lot about his life that I don't know. And I just happened to read it. But not many people are going to be, this book was, I guess, a few years ago. So not many people now who are, say, even following the squad, following the Sussexes, may have read this book or know anything about it. Again, I just happened upon it. And so it's just like, no one calls them bully. No one calls them disrespectful, because that's one of the things people throw at Meghan. Oh, she's disrespecting the Queen, or she's disrespecting the monarchy, or she's disrespecting whatever. Well, here's Prince Charles blatantly disrespecting his mother and his mother's household, and allowing his staff to disrespect his mother's household. It's like literally calling his mother's staff his mother's household has-beens and dinosaurs. Hello. To the point where he, Mr. Ross had to leave. He's like, he would walk out of meetings. He's like, I will not stand here and allow you to do that, because again, he worked for the Queen. And so he absolutely respected her. And he would be in meetings where her own son's staff, following his example, was disrespecting her household. He literally would walk out of meetings and conversations because of it. And so, yeah, it's like, and like he said at the end of, in the middle of the clip on 5, he says, after nearly 2 decades serving the Queen, Ross couldn't abide by such impertinence. He's like, no. And he literally said, Michael Pete was a clone of Prince Charles. If Prince Charles if his attitude towards his mother is, what is she up? That's exactly what his Michael Pete would do. And so he just literally adopt, Prince Charles's attitude to his mother and her household. And they have the nerve to be attacking Meghan and saying that Meghan was disrespecting the Queen or disrespecting the monarchy or whatever, and her own son and his staff doing it. And again, these are specific instances. These are specific charges. These are specific things he's talking about, and he's naming names. None of which they have with Meghan. It's, again, always unnamed sources, no quotes. Even when they name someone, there's no direct quotes from those people. And so I just think, going on every, maybe every episode, whatever, I'm going to bring in stuff that I read about what, and again, right, even Robert Jobson was just writing about Prince William and his behavior towards his father and the Queen. And so it's unreal that they could attack Meghan when, this stuff is out there. And again, if we don't bring it up, nobody else does. If they would go on even U.S. outlets and be talking about this stuff, and reporters not doing their homework, don't know this all stuff exactly. They can't compare, and they can't go back. It's like, well, wait a minute, Prince Charles did the exact same thing. You didn't call him a bully. You didn't say he was disrespectful to his mother. You didn't say any of those things. So again, as squatties, we're the ones that need to do it. So there we go. Anyways, let's see. Maureen says, what a shame. That's why they dropped the bullying accusations against Meghan like hot potatoes. I mean, hello. Well documented. How are you going to be, and again, that is why I'm so happy that Meghan has a life before going there and a life after. So people can look back. It's like, you don't just change in that, 18 months, whatever she was there. And all of a sudden she never had that. She's never had that in her character before. She's not had it since. And only that time in that place. And the very people who have been the ones going to the press and calling her all kind of names are the only ones that she's attacking her and calling her a bully. I mean, unreal. Let's see. Wendy Loman says, I cannot wait for the disgruntled fired employees of the monarchy to leak dirt on Charles and William. Well, I mean, this was one. He was so scarred. He's like, no, I'm talking, Yeah, it's I'm telling you. Lydia. Hi, Lydia. Lydia says, he is known for a nasty temper, and that is why his sons has anger issues. Prince Charles seek help and control his now. Prince Harry seeked help. Sought help and controls his now. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we just look at his behavior with pens. Look at his behavior, so it just, and again, he flies off the handle at the drop of a hat. And again, no one has called him a bully. No one has. Literally, they're like, what did they say? They look at it as a game or something like that, him flying off the handle. And it's unreal. Let's see. Staying in the chat for a bit. Elsa says, I'm happy to make the live today. I'm happy you're here as well, Elsa. Welcome. Let's see. I'm going up. Gwendolyn. Oh, she's talking to Church Nelly, our awesome moderator. Oh, Church Nelly, I didn't know you're here. Okay, I'm so happy you're here. I guess everything is okay with you in South Carolina, so that's good. I'm just trying to find where you are there, Church Nelly. Says she knew he was a weak wimp. Okay, I'm not sure who you're talking about, so I just jumped into your conversation there. Let's see. Black Queen says, I'm laughing at the fake 4 picture they posted a couple of days ago. There must be a shortage of ink in the realm with all the photoshopping that they did to make those 4 look halfway presentable. Well, and to lighting. They always Photoshop those things, take out a few things here and there. It's one of the reasons I hate Photoshopping. So I like real, you look how you look. So anyways, there's also lighting that helps with that, really nice complementary lighting, I would say. Let's see. Marjorie says, I've always suspected that Chucky, oh, oh goodness, wanted to be king long before now and was ill-treating his mom and hoping she would die a long time ago. No, don't have any I don't have any proof for that or any receipts for that. But it has been reported, actually widely reported, that he, and I think actually it was in the Jonathan Dimbleby's book, that he had said that he hoped his mother would would just quit and let him what is that word, I all of a sudden that word just escaped me, that she would just give it up and let him be, let him be king. He said that, and then it became a big thing. And and I think they said, he apologized or something like that. But I think I actually have to go back to the Jonathan Dimbleby book, but I think he said that, and it just became a big thing. And of course, if you're the queen, you're like, excuse me, and that was the book where he basically called her a cold fish and accused that she was just not maternal. She was not a loving person and not a loving mother to him. And then he also accused his father of being abusive, and forced him to marry Princess Diana, all in the Jonathan Dimbleby's book. Never mind what you see Jonathan Dimbleby now, attacking Harry for writing a book or, doing the Me You Can See and stuff. Jonathan Dimbleby, with Prince Charles, wrote that about his mother and father. So these people are crazy. But anyways, moving on. Let's Church Nelly. Hey, Church Nelly. So Church Nelly, if you want to share, I hope everything is okay with you. I know there was a lot of flooding and stuff in South Carolina, so I'm assuming you are okay and your family is okay. So please, if you'd like to share, that would be great. Let us know that you are doing okay. But I'm glad you're here. I was very concerned and praying for you and your family and all of our wonderful squaddies out there in South Carolina. So I am very glad you're here. And she's talking to Gwendolyn. She was pillowed like those two kids and others, allegedly, possibly. I am not sure what you're talking about. So since you were talking to Gwendolyn, you know what you're talking about. So yeah. Maureen says, Petal, is the author of the book still alive? I was wondering because, the royal family and the firm have a habit of getting rid of people who they see as a threat or speaking on them. I think Sally Bedell is still alive. I think I saw a quote from her recently talking about, what was she talking about? She was saying that, there's going to be an issue for Charles coming out, with the crown coming out, because people are going to make the comparisons with his behavior and the wickedness he's done towards Princess Diana, that people are going to make the comparison with what he's done to Harry and Meghan. So yes, I think she is alive. And her books, I've read her books. She is not, say, a royal reporter that works for a tabloid. So I've really just been reading her books on the issue. As with every reporter, as with every royal biographer, I take stuff with a grain of salt, because unless there are specific instances like this where say the courtier, he's talking about his personal stuff, there are quotes from him, he's naming names and naming specific situations, that I will take. As with any other royal biography, other things I was like, okay, interesting, I read it and I accept it for what it is, but I still, there could be other sides to that situation, so shall we say. So yes, but Sally Bedell is good. And again, I read her book about the Queen as well, and yeah, which is mostly about the Queen eating and the Queen go traveling to different. It's just like, This woman had 70 years. Tell me what the services she's done. I'm still waiting to find out what service she's done for the 70 years she's been on the throne, queening. Unreal. Let's see. Lady Bird says, I hope Harry and Meghan sue all those so-called royal biographers so that they can say who their sources are. Again, it's like Tyler Perry talked about punching down. You don't want to punch down in situations like this because one, you won't win it. There's no benefit to punching down, especially, say for the biographers coming out now, they are not naming any sources and they're not giving any specific situation. There are no specific charges. So you can't, there's nothing to, there's nothing to sue over. It's just the hearsay about someone says she did something, but they're not quoting the person and there's an unnamed source. So there's no specific person saying anything. And there's no specific charge, only that, well, she was screaming on a Saturday. Oh, she was screaming at me over the phone. Well, there's no nothing around that in the sense of, okay, well, what was she screaming about? What was the situation? What did you do? What specifically, what day was it? Nothing. There was nothing specific about any of those things. So there's no way you could sue over that, unfortunately. But, even though they are saying, and basically, attempting to destroy her character, there's nothing specific to sue over. So, unfortunately. And so, there would be no point for her going after. That's why they haven't sued. I mean, look at how many biographies that they've written about them. They haven't sued because there's no point to it. And again, it would be punching down and just bringing attention to these crazy book people. So anyways, moving on from that. Let's just take this out. Thank you so much, Lady Bird. One of the things we talked about in the last episode was the protests that are going on in Scotland, and actually over the weekend were going on in Scotland and also Wales. And one of the things you notice, and our British squaddies can confirm if I'm wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, there has not been much press on this at all. Like the British press has, the UK press, I should say, has pretty much stayed away. And most of the information about the marches have come from social media. And, and so we've talked about the massive protests, thousands upon thousands of people protesting, and demanding their independence. And so it's very interesting today. If you look at on the left, M. Nash, one of those royal reporters, I saw this today, screenshot of her tweet, and it says, the King and Queen Consort are welcomed to Dunfermline. You can correct me if I'm wrong with that one. At Nicola Sturgeon on their way, on their first joint engagement since royal mourning ended, the King has formally marked Dunfermline's new city status. I may have said that completely incorrect, but the lady in the blue bowing to Prince Charles is Nicola Sturgeon. She's Prime Minister of Scotland. And for me, it was just very irritating watching that, because if I'm, a prime minister or whatever of a country, and I've seen thousands upon thousands upon thousands of my people marching for independence a couple of days ago, the last thing I would be doing is bowing to King Charles. That would be the last thing. It's just like, are you serious? Did you not see your people out there marching for independence? Did you not see them? Did you not hear their voices? What must they be thinking watching you bow to this man? And it's not just a little bow. It was a big, deep bow she did. A pity I can't, I don't bring in videos because, YouTube there might be like some, copyright things there. I don't play with that one. But it's just so disappointing to see. I mean, look at the pictures on the right with all these people marching for their independence, and you're going to be bowing. It's just like, kick her out. Get leaders that are really there fighting for your causes. That's the thing. And that's not to say, the truth be told is there were many people there while Prince Charles was doing his engagement with Queen Camilla, or King Charles, I should say, and Queen Camilla doing their engagement. There were a lot of Scots there welcoming them. There were actually quite a bit of them. But again, of course, they're going to be royalists, obviously, But as a leader, though, it's like, you of course you respectful, whatever, but that bowing thing, and I'm probably just me and that bowing. I'm like, I don't bow to people first and foremost, but not if I'm the leader and I see my people marching for independence, that's the last thing I'd be doing. That is the last thing I would think to do. So it just, and again, she apparently is not even a royalist. She's not into this, apparently. But when you see the deep bow, I'm like, well, unreal. But anyways, that's probably just me. I'm just going to jump in the chat, see what you guys think. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm just like complaining for no reason. Wendy says the UK press purposely black out protests against the monarchy. Stupid on their part. This is there's something called the internet. And again, client reporting. I can't call it journalism, client reporting. When you are blacking out, and again, British squaddies, if you're on here, please let me know if you've seen any, like, one of the things there was, I think was it Wales or Scotland? They were saying the BBC in their country was not showing the protest. It's completely silent on the protest. And I'm like, how are you going to be silent on this huge protest? That's ridiculous. But they are. So yeah, it's just unreal. Nash, Sangbi, our awesome Tucson crew member, says, good afternoon, panel. Tomorrow's our birthday. I can't wait for my birthday gifts at Archetypes. Oh, happy birthday, Nash. Oh my goodness, I hope you're doing some fun stuff apart from watching Archetypes. So I guess we'll celebrate tomorrow when we do our podcast. So maybe you could come on and chat with me tomorrow and let me know what fun things you're doing. Not to put you on the spot or anything. So not to put you on the spot, but it would be nice to chat with you on your birthday if you'd like to tomorrow. So that'll be awesome. Kathy says, Pedal, check to see if she has an OBE, MBE, KBE. Probably. I will check. I never check on her. But would that be surprising? No. No. That would be the least surprising thing. But I will check. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, Church Nelly says, agree, Pedal. I will never bow or curtsy to anyone. Yeah, and no, absolutely. I am very much, unless you're the Lord himself, you're not getting a bow. Sorry. And you're never, the lady next to Nicola Sturgeon gave this deep curtsy, and then she did the big bow. It's like, oh, stop. Cheryl W says, Pella, there are some people in Scotland that like the monarchy and some that doesn't. Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, if you look, let's see, right behind you there, Cheryl, and that is a very small picture. There were a lot of people that were there. There were a lot of people. I mean, obviously, it's royalty, so a lot of some people probably just curious, as they all are. They're curiosity factor. But a lot of people were there. So it just, not just them. A lot of people were there, and I'm sure Prince Charles was very encouraged to see a lot of people out there welcoming them. And so, but again, obviously they're going to be, they're royalists in Wales, they're royalists in Scotland, they're royalists all over the UK. But I'm talking in terms of a leader. When you've seen thousands of your people marching, no, you don't do that, so let's see. Oh wait, someone just gave a Nash, thank you so much. That would be fun. Yes. Okay, good. So I'm glad so I'm expecting a call from you tomorrow, Nash. I'm gonna put the link in the chat tomorrow, and you can call in, and hopefully many of us could call, many of you could call in, and we can chat about archetypes, and we can all celebrate Nash's birthday as well. So that'll be awesome. Yes, birthday celebration. So yes. Phil Benjoy says, I can't imagine curtsy to Camilla Parker Bowles. That would be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. I don't know necessarily that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen, I think I don't know that I've seen people curtsy to her. Maybe they have, and I hadn't paid attention. So yeah, that could be that too. Let's see. Who else is chatting in there. Okay, Nelly's talking more about the curse. He says, I will never curtsy to anyone. First, I don't believe in anyone being superior to me. Second, I wouldn't be able to get up after the curtsy. Church Nelly's gonna have that I've fallen and I can't get up moment. So good, Church Nelly. Don't be cursying to anybody, because, or at least if you're gonna do it, make sure somebody else is there to help you up. Janine says, aren't we lucky the internet is there? I'm telling you, if people weren't there with their phones and stuff, we would never know that there were marches or protests. We would never know, because again, the media is not covering it. So, or at least not the mainstream media. I'm sure like independent and pro-Republican press, but they are not mainstream in this. I mean, they're very small. So their reach is very small. So Cookies and Cream says, our awesome moderator, Cookies and Cream says, I agree there are times to be silent. However, Sussex says, I need to start fighting back. Punk moron should never be allowed to get away with his abuse all these years. They need to go after him. They would just simply say, they most likely would just simply say, because he's press. There is, I don't know how you go after it, because again, a lot of them hide behind the press. They will hide behind freedom of speech. They'll hide behind their press badges. How do you go? Again, Meghan has a great team. She, beat she beat the Daily Fail. So they have to pick and choose things that she can actually win. Especially, going after them, the amount of time and money. And again, Meghan has 2 young kids. She might just want to spend time with her kids. And the thing about it too, what is the way you fight stuff like that? Because again, with Piers Morgan or Dan Wooten or the Daily Mail, you have to think in terms of it's like if you don't like mud and you going in a pen with pigs. The thing, you can go in the pen with pigs and fight with them, but if you don't like mud and if you don't want their mud all over you, then you have an issue, because the problem you have is pigs love mud. They will waddle in mud all day. That's their home. That's their love. That's their passion. And so, do you want to go in a pig pen and fight with pigs? That's the thing here. If you go after them, they love, this is what is the reason why they keep going after the Sussexes is that they want Sussex's attention. That is what they want. They love this. They love the mud. They love the gossip. That's who they are. They are gossipers. They are gossip writers. So any kind of going after them would feed them. It wouldn't help you. It will feed them. And so you have to decide, well, do I want to go in that mud and play in their game, or do I want to focus on what I do and let people see who I am? And eventually those people will start turning away from them, because they're going to see who I really am. And I think that's for me, I think that's the wiser choice, because You go in the mud and waddle. That's all you. Then your whole life would become fighting people who love mud, and that doesn't benefit you in any way. And so, believe me, I wish there was a way that she could go after them and take them down. But unfortunately, what will happen is he will just get promoted. He'll get the attention that he wants. He'll get more clicks. More people would come. And the people that his people are never going to believe her anyway. The people that are attracted to what his content will never believe because they believe him. So they're never going to believe her or go on her side. So what's the point of going and fighting him? She has to focus on what she is doing and, building her brand and building her. And eventually, hopefully, people will come to their senses and realize like, oh, wait, that's nonsense. And you're seeing that already, as even with all the mess with the funeral, so many people. And then so many people, over 20 million people who been watching that, the Me You Can See video. And so many of them are like, whoa, I didn't realize. And so many of them are turning to start supporting the Sussexes. And that's, I think, is the wiser choice, I think. So I again, believe me, I wish there was a way that could take him out, but they will just fail up. And then they will get you fight them, they'll just get the attention they crave. They're like Donald Trump. They all are the same pattern. They crave attention. And so it's the narcissistic character that they have, that they just feed on that stuff. They will do all that stuff for your attention. And so their victim literally have to ignore them. And hopefully they'll turn away and go do something else with their life. But I think that, the better choice is the direction of just, leave them in their pig pen and you go your way. So, and again, I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong in this. But for me, it's a hard choice, but it's the better choice. So, let's see. Wendy says the people demand referendum in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland will determine monarch stays or go. I hope they choose to let them go. I really, and again, if the Prince Charles and William, whatever, if they want a king in England, that's fine. Let England take care of them. But why should other countries have to, deal with their mess? If you want to be king, just be king in your country. Just be there and be king. And everybody else have their independence. That's my thing. And if England is stupid enough to be funding millionaires by themselves, that's their business. I don't know why they would want to, but look. So I am all for people getting their independence. They should not have to be saddled with the British mess. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what they're doing. It's like all these nasty people's books and all of it. The moment the Sussex don't give them attention, they move on to something else. It's kind of like they're throwing everything at the wall to see if the Sussex is going to respond to any of it. And they just haven't. And I think that is the best way to do it. Unfortunately, but that they keep attacking them and attacking their character, but that's the best way to do it. Kenitha says, Scotland First Minister wants independence. Her bowing is protocol. Yeah, well, protocol or not, the royal family tends to throw protocol out when they want something, and when they don't want to do something, they throw that protocols out in things. I don't see why it's like, I understand, like, okay, that's the way you do it, but again, if my people, and if you're that serious about getting rid of the monarchy, bowing to the king would not be something I would do. So maybe, maybe a hello, maybe a handshake, but not a bowing or a curtsying. Ladybird says Nicola she is a monarchist? I thought she wasn't. For some reason, I thought I guess that would explain then if she's a monarchist, and I'd explain that then. Because for some reason, I thought she wasn't. Huh. Maybe it was when, remember that the COVID choo-choo train when she was like, well, I told them not to come. So I thought from then, I guess I mistakenly thought she was not. So, oh well, that explained that then. I stand corrected on that one. Boy, let's see, Joan. Hi, Joan. Joan says, the wisdom of success is the best revenge. Fitz, Harry, and Meghan. Ignoring tabloids will irritate those writers even more. Perfectly said, Joan. Thank you. Yeah, success is the best revenge. You go out and be successful because they're trying to destroy you. They don't want your success. They want you to focus on them. And it's the same thing with how racism works. The racism, they throw it at you so that they will distract you. So you're turning towards them and focusing on them and not focusing on, what you want to be doing in life. And you're constantly like having to deal with their racist behavior. And when you do that, you turn away from what you want. And that's why they throw it. And this is the same. It works the same. So great point, Joan. Absolutely great point. Let's see. Michelle Fierce. Oh, I love that name. Michelle Fierce. Michelle says, I wish people would understand that Harry and Meghan can't go after everyone who did them wrong. They will be in court every, in other words, no life. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Pell. The press looking for attention. Yeah, they would be in court forever. The amount of things that's been thrown at them. So yeah, they would. Yeah, that's crazy. Let's move on for a couple more things I have before we end. Wait a minute. What time is Baron on? Is he on? Or is he? I didn't look. So if anybody knows Baron's time, so this past weekend, there was a London Marathon, and Invictus Games were there, and Invictus had a team there. It was awesome. Elijah De Sanya, Mark Blowers, Dennis Van der Stroom, David Weissman, who we know who works with Invictus, Emma Kitson. You can track their progress on Official Marathon. That was during the marathon over the weekend. I think it was yesterday, actually, was the London Marathon. So Invictus team was there. So very exciting for a team that were there for the London Marathon. It was so awesome. So, and Invictus says, we hope you were inspired by the London Marathon as we were. What an incredible display of heart, determination by every runner. But special shout out goes to the runners supported by the Invictus Games Foundation. You did amazing. And all of the ones, the Invictus team is a gentleman, Mark, sitting here, and what's her name? I forgot her name. Let's get their names. Emma, and then David, and then Elijah Day. So that's David and Elijah Day back here at the bottom right. That's David and Elijah Day. That's Emma in the wheelchair. That's Mark. And this is, what's his name? Dennis. And Dennis is bottom left. So they were the Invictus team. So kudos, guys. They look like they had a grand old time representing Invictus at the London Marathon. Also at the London Marathon was WellChild. Team really supporting WellChild was also at the marathon. So it's a huge thank you to Bud Primary for choosing to support WellChild. Their team of 10 smashed the London Marathon yesterday, and we are so proud to have them as part of the team WellChild. This incredible team of staff plan to raise £30,000 for WellChild this year, and that's the WellChild team there. And so amazing. And it's so great because It's Harry's team. Harry, both of Harry's British charities that he supports were at the marathon supporting, and of course this team supporting WellChild. So it is just, it's like, oh wow, that is awesome. And normally, when Harry was a part, working for the royal family, Harry used to be at the finish line with the medals and giving out medals. I think he was the patron of the London marathon. So, I'm sure he was looking in on it, and yesterday. So kudos to everyone who were there supporting the marathon. So I just thought that was really fantastic, to see that. So yes. Let's see this. Oh, I see. See you at Barron's. I'm assuming. Oh, okay. Barron is on at 2:15 p.m. So I just checked. It said Barron coming at 2:15. So we have a couple more minutes to finish up. So yes, awesome. Let's see. That is awesome. Let's see. No church Nelly. No moonshine for you. I love it. Let me see. Let's see who else. I'm just scrolling up to see who else is chatting about stuff. I'll just pump that I didn't click on before. So yeah. Kathy says Charles is going on 74. My goodness. Luckily, he enjoyed his youth because these sunset years will be very bumpy. Yes. So, I mean, look, the thing with Prince Charles, whatever I think of his character, especially his treatment with Princess Diana, with Camilla, and how he has treated Harry and Meghan, the thing about Prince Charles is that he lived a really full life in the terms of the things that he accomplished with, say, the Duchy of Cornwall and all the things that he did with charities. Never mind all the cash for access, cash for honors, all that mess. But he did a whole bunch of stuff, and he really did the things that he really wanted to do, including whether it's he's an artist, he paints, he does music, he does his gardening, he has the Duchy original, which is a line of food, say jam and butter and all that stuff that he does from the Duchy farms. So he's done a lot for his life. That's why when you look at his life and you look at what William has accomplished, William is 40, which is like nothing. You're like, your father has done so many things, minus those shady parts. He has done and accomplished so many things. What have you done in 40 years? Nothing, So he really has lived, and obviously cheating and all of that stuff has been part of it, but he has lived a full life. So, now it's like, yeah, now it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be really, really bumpy. So, but, Princess Diana, even she said she didn't think he was going to be a good king because, it's like she knew what his passions were. And he's not a person that's he's not a person that you say no to, as we've seen, not Nicola Sturgeon, Liz Truss saying no. And then he obviously leaked that stuff to the press. He's not a person. He will figure out a way to get his way. He's not a person that allows people to say no to him. His whole staff, they're all yes people. They don't say no. If Prince Charles hires you, you're a yes person. He doesn't hire people who will say no to him. So it's just, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Let's see. Adrian says, I hope Charles live as long as Philip. Is going to be fun. There's an incandescent one that would be very upset. Well, it's his father, so maybe not. I don't want to say that people are happy when their father died, but, at least he may be wishing that, Prince give up that title so he can take it. He seems a little anxious there to, if you remember the moment he learned that he was, it's like the minute when the queen died, and I guess he became like the Duke of the Duke of Cambridge, or whatever Prince Charles was before. I don't remember. Titles would confuse me. He like immediately, William and Kate immediately changed it, and the moment they became the Prince and Princess of Wales, they immediately changed their social media platform. I mean, like, they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to do it. It just was like, it was really wild how, it's like they just couldn't. It's like you could see them like at their computers just waiting for it to come down for them to just type Prince and Princess of Wales. And it's just like, oh my gosh. So I could see them, being very upset if Prince Charles lived as long as Philip, because what Prince Philip was, 99? Ooh. Would Prince William want to wait that long? We will see. Let's see. One more. Lydia says, I agree. Some stuff they should address. She still has an open case with Scammy pending for October 2023. Something always over her head with trolls. Not sure what that means, but yeah, there is still that case that needs to finish up. And Meghan has stuff she wants to accomplish. I'm sure she's like, you know what? Use whatever. I want to focus on my thing. And again, she can use her like, she doesn't need to take people to court per se. When you have the platforms that she has and that Harry has, they have television stuff available to them. She has a podcast available. She's a writer. She can write books. She can do, write articles. She can have she can do a blog. There are so many ways to address those issues that doesn't include court. And not only that, she can turn it around on them and use that. I mean, she does a book. She'll make millions off a book she writes if she decides to put it all in a book and make people pay to read it. You know what I mean? She could do that. She can, do more interviews, whatever. Who wouldn't pay her to do it? This season on her podcast is about archetypes. Next one, she could, use it to address those issues. She can also do a television special. She could do a document. There are so many ways that you can go about it. And not only that, she can make a ton of money doing it. That doesn't have to go in the court, and she can address all of those things. So she has the platform. She has it. Whenever she speaks, the world listens. So there you go. So she has a lot of ways that she can do this. She could even do a film, make a movie out of it. Whatever. How many ways she wants to address this, she can do it. So yeah. But turning completely away from this has nothing whatsoever to do with royal of any kind, but I am so in a Janet Jackson phase. I am like the throwback person the last few days. I don't know why Janet's stuff has been popping up all over my social media feed, and I'm like gone totally retro with Janet right now. And this is Janet out in Paris. I think this was today. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this has nothing to do with Meghan and Harry. This has nothing to do with royal, but this is music royalty to me. And I grew up with, I'm sure many of you have grown up with Janet. I have loved Janet since back in when she was on, what is that show? Good Times? Was it Good Times? Yeah. And it just like, oh my goodness, I have loved Janet Jackson. And, seeing her today, I was like, you go, Janet. I mean, look at these shoes. And this is from a non, fashion person speaking. Look at her shoes though. I love it. And this is Janet, she and her crew, I guess. This was the middle one is a video from her TikTok. And then she's sitting with Anna Wintour and Doja Cat. I don't know. I think they said that's a Doja Cat. I don't know. I think she's a singer. And I don't know her work at all, but I'm like, if you're sitting with Janet, you're cool. I don't care what you do, you're sitting with Janet. So and I love Janet. And so it's just like this was my first royal, because I always thought of the royal the Jackson family, and that was my music royalty, and that still is my music royalty. So and Janet has been quiet for a bit, and so I am just like, I absolutely just like, you go Janet. I mean, how amazing is this? And it kind of reminds me of Rhythm Nation. It gives me a little bit of the vibe, probably because of the uniform thing that she's wearing. So I absolutely love this. And I was looking back and seeing all, when I saw the photo, and I was just like looking back at all the songs that I love, like, Rhythm Nation, I think has to be the best music video ever. I just think it's just like, oh, there's nothing like Rhythm Nation and Pleasure Principle. I mean, I don't know how many, if you're Janet Jackson fans in here. So sorry, people are like, Pedal, Janet, why are you talking about Janet? But oh yeah, there we go. Somebody love Janet. Penny from Good Times, yes. Penny, see, I love this. I love that we can go from British royalty to music royalty, and we all are on the same page. I am like, yes, my feet too. Janet, love it. I know. It's like all of a sudden I have all this Janet Jackson. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna lean right back into Janet. Wendy's like, yeah, I love the gray suits. I love it. It's just I'm telling you, all these music videos with groups of dancers in the back all copy in some way what Janet did. It was just, I'm telling you, her working with Paula Abdul, in the beginning, with what have you done for me lately? It's just like, I'm telling you, it's Janet was it. She's it for me, Shady Anna Winter. Yes, but she's sitting with Janet. Jonas, like, the hands defying gravity. Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I don't even want to know what they did to get that hair up there, but girl, you just look fly. I love it. Oh, C-Max says, I brought my mom's chair to dance the Pleasure Principle. Never did get that trick. I know, when she was on the chair and she came down. Oh my goodness. I think Pleasure Principle and Rhythm Nation have to be the best dance videos. I mean, Pleasure Principle was, and oh, the jeans and tying up the t-shirt on Pleasure Principles. I had to copy that. It was just like, oh, Church Nelly, you nailed it. Oh. I love it. I would have given anything to see Church Nelly doing that chair, that they come doing that chair thing. That is awesome. Janet is still looking good past 50. Wow, she is. She is amazing. I'm telling you. Black folks, black don't crack. That is the truth. Elaine says, got to go now. Take it. Oh, bye, Elaine. Elaine is like, okay, we are on music. She's like, bye. Adrian says she looks gorgeous at 56. Yes, she does. I'm like, and look, just all of these songs, Escapade. Oh, and Miss You oh my goodness, Control. Oh, I love it. And Nasty. Oh, Nasty has to be one of my all-time favorites as well. I love it. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. I love it. Oh my gosh, Shirley was thinking the same thing. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Yes. I love it. I'm telling you. So I'm going to be on my Janet thing for a bit here. And, not here, but, on my Twitter feed. But anyways, I just, for some reason, it's on my feed and I just been in. So I thought, let's just talk Janet for a minute. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I got. That is pretty much all I have. And, Thank you guys for hanging out with me and indulging my my Janet Jackson phase. But thank you guys so much. Thank you to our awesome moderators here, Lydia, Trish, Nelly, Karen M, Julie Rock. Wait, did I say Julie Rock today? I don't know that I saw Julie Rock. Cookies and Cream, who is definitely here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and just indulging and chatting royals. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please, we're going to do some call-in. So please don't leave me hanging. I want to make sure that we all, call in and share what you got out of the Archetypes return. So I would just definitely love to hear from everyone. Again, don't leave me hanging. So anyways, thank you guys so much. Thank you to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who supports the channel monthly. I appreciate your support so much. Thank you to our Gold Star supporters. Still trying to get that name. But thank you guys so much for your support in super chats, super thanks, super stickers, Cash App, PayPal, merchandise. Thank you all so much for your support. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so that you know when we drop a video. So, and also like and share the video. We're trying to build our channel. It's getting close to 5,000, so please share it, and join our 2 Cents crew group. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. I love you all, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.